Hello and welcome to the weekly moon update for July 17th through the 23rd. I feel like I say this every time, but this month is flying so fast. So, we have a new moon week. If you haven't already, I highly recommend watching the new moon in Cancer. Pick a card reading. I'll link it in the description below, or you can find it on my YouTube channel. The themes surrounding this new moon are obviously self-care related because Cancer is the mother and the nurturer. So this is about finding things and solidifying things and committing to things that support your highest good and that are refreshing, replenishing, and rejuvenating for you both physically and mentally and spiritually. If you're watching this live on Sunday evening, we are already in the Cancer energy, and we will be in the Cancer energy for all day of Monday. So tonight or tomorrow is going to be a good day to be tapping into the self-care Cancer energy. And the rest of this week is our last opportunity to be in Cancer energy because we're moving, or the sun is moving into Leo at the end of the week. We will have a full moon in Cancer at the end of the year, or between now and then. You're going to want to have some sort of self care routine in place because as the light decreases and we enter into the fall and winter months, our energy is decreasing. So you want to have things and routines in your life that help support your energy so that you're just able to maintain it throughout the darker months of the year. So let's jump into the energy of this week. We'll talk more about the new moon and what we can expect with the retrograde energy and Leo season. So, like I said earlier, we have a Cancer new moon on Monday when we'll be in that Cancer energy for all day Monday. Another thing about the pick a card reading is that if you are a Twitch subscriber or a Ko-fi supporter, I created journaling pages for each specific pick a card pile to help support the energy that was coming through in the reading and hopefully to get you reflecting on self-care and your energy. Specifically in the planner, the new moon exercise is really going through all 12 of the zodiac signs and evaluating what your energy is like on those days. So, this is a very reflective time. New moons in general are very reflective, but because this is Cancer and watery and nurturing and mothering, this is like really evaluating how you can support your energy the best. And just in case you need a copy of the Just a Phase Moon Planner and want to work on these exercises, I have the digital planner is the most economical choice for you because I think it's only 11.11 right now, $11. That's because I couldn't lower the print price any more than I already have because otherwise I'd be losing money on it because it takes a lot. It costs a lot to print these. So you can still use your 20% off coupon, but that's as low as I can go. So because we're already halfway through the year, if you still want to read and do the exercises, I highly recommend the digital version. It is interactive too, so you can still write in the digital version just like you would in a hard copy. So those are also linked in the description below. This is just the exercise that we're doing for the Cancer new moon and evaluating how you feel on all 12 of the zodiac signs. So really sitting down and looking back at your mood tracker and seeing how did I feel on these days? Because it's really interesting when you go back and look like, hmm, I was really grumpy and moody on these days and trying to figure out why. Eliminating if like it was food that made you moody or just something that happened in the day that made you moody, or could it have possibly been the moon's energy and the astrological energy that I believe affects all of us on at least some level. So, the new moon is a reflection time. I highly recommend doing that tonight, Sunday evening, if you're watching this live, or sometime Monday, because Tuesday morning at 12:40 a.m. we move into Leo. So this is kind of like the precursor to Leo season, which will happen at the end of the week on the 23rd. So we're starting off the week with Leo moon energy, and we're ending the week with Leo sun energy, and we'll be in Leo sun energy for a month. So Leo Tuesday and Wednesday, this is a fire sign. I think the zodiac signs that are associated with animals are kind of easy to understand those characteristics because we know the like archetypes that animal energy has. We know the archetype of Leo is fiery and courageous and proud and loyal. So these are the qualities that a Leo moon has as well. Then Thursday morning at around 1 p.m., we'll move into Virgo. Virgo energy takes us from fire, Leo, to earthy, grounded, stable. And specifically, Virgo energy is really good at organizing things and fixing things and just kind of understanding the right way to do things. So, Virgo energy gives us this opportunity to organize something in our life. Make sure that you have your to do list for the day, or your plan for the month, or your plan for the week. And they like to check those things off of that list. They like to get things done. So, like all of the earth signs, Virgo gives us kind of just this structure that is much needed, especially after fiery Leo, and as we are approaching Leo season as well. Then on Sunday, around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we move into Libra. So this is taking us from Earth to air. And Libra is represented by the scales. And I think this is pretty self explanatory as well. This is justice, balance, and equilibrium. Like Virgo has kind of like directed how things should be done, and then Libra just kind of helps us, lets things fall into place. From that organization you get balance. So that's why like all of the energy of the signs that we have, they all kind of work together and fall into each other. For example, starting off on this week, we have water, emotions, how can I best take care of myself? And then the fire helps us celebrate ourselves, to prioritize the things that mean the most to us. Then the Virgo earth is going to help us organize it. And then the Libra air is going to help things fall into place. So all of these elements and zodiac signs work together. They're like all of these puzzle pieces that just help us, they help create this balance and flow and rhythm to our lives when you really start to pay attention to it. So the moon energy itself, we have the new moon on Monday, and then progressively throughout the week, we have a waxing crescent that is just going to get brighter and brighter and brighter because we're starting off dark, and one day at a time it just gets slightly brighter, and then we'll have a first quarter week next week, which is when the moon is half lit. All right, so before we jump into the oracle cards for the week, I want to talk a little bit about Retrograd-a-palooza. We have a list of the planets here in the planner. So Pluto went retrograde on May 1st and will be retrograde until October. Neptune was the next one to go June 30th. Oh, no, wait. Saturn was the next one to go June 17th. And then Neptune was next June 30th. And then now this week, Venus and Chiron are going retrograde on Saturday. So, or actually one is Friday and one Saturday, and then Leo season is on Sunday. So this is a lot of kind of transition happening all at once here. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about kind of understanding basically what these retrogrades might mean. So if you flip back to the beginning of your planner where you plugged in your birth chart information here, we also had these keyword charts here. And specifically, we're looking at this planet one. And just to point out the reason the reason mine isn't filled out is At the beginning of the year, I always print out a bigger sheet to do it live on stream. So I have a separate sheet of paper. I should have pasted it in there, but I don't want you to think that I'm not actually using my planner. I use it. I fill this out every year, but I blow it up so it's bigger and it you can see it better on stream. So we're looking at the keyword planets or the keyword charts here. So, starting with Pluto, Pluto is the planet of transformation. So, when Pluto is retrograde, meaning it's moving, it looks like it's moving backward. It's not actually moving backwards, but it means that things in regards to transformation might be moving a little bit slower. We all had collectively a really big shift at the a couple months ago with the eclipse season and the Mercury retrograde. So a lot of us have like been transforming, have been going through these shifts and changes in our lives. And I personally kind of feel like things were starting to feel like they were moving a little bit forward. Like once we got through that rocky eclipse season, it was like, okay, here we go. But now with Pluto retrograde, things are slowing down a little bit and this causes things to come up that like might be blocking or inhibiting your transformation. Uh, for example, just simply like things that make you feel comfortable. Like transformation is difficult and kind of hard to navigate. So sometimes we regress back to the things that make us feel comfortable. And just for like a simple example, maybe you started eating healthier and this you're on some sort of health transformation and evolution. But then like summer's here and there's cookouts and there's barbecues. So you're eating the foods that like you were trying to avoid, like hot dogs and hamburgers and ice creams and popsicles because it's so freaking hot outside. So this is an example that might be slowing your transformation a little bit. But the thing is, it doesn't you can still continue this transformation. It's just going to be moving slower until October. The next planet that we said was what was it? Was Saturn. So I don't know if you remember earlier this year as well, Saturn also changed signs this year. We moved from Aquarius to Pisces. And this is Saturn, as you can see, is the planet of discipline, restrictions. It's also boundaries. So I have personally noticed the shift from an air boundary to a water boundary. And with this Saturn retrograde, we might be kind of going backwards a little bit to that air Aquarius energy. And then when we start moving forward again in November, then we're going to start to feel more of that watery energy again. And the next one was Neptune. So Neptune retrograde, if you look at your keyword list here, Neptune is the planet of dreams and like that subconscious watery kind of energy. Think of like Neptune, the god of the ocean. This is like mythological fantasy, dreamy kind of energy. And having Neptune retrograde, is it in Pisces also? Yeah, so Neptune is in its home sign of Pisces, which is also watery and dreamy and subconscious energy. Having that slowing down kind of blurs the barriers, especially with Saturn retrograde too, blurs the barriers between what's real and what's not, what's illusion, what's delusion. And there's just kind of this like weird feeling into it. So you want to be careful about creating things in your mind that aren't really true, creating scenarios in your mind that aren't really true, especially with Venus going retrograde here as well. And then, so what's happening this week is Venus and Chiron. So, Venus, we all know, is the planet of love. Chiron is the wounded healer. So the situations that we deal with Chiron are the really difficult obstacles that we encounter in our life, but that at the same time teach us our greatest lesson. So these are the things that you might even just be dealing with your entire life. That one situation and scenario that always comes up for you and you're like, why is this always happening to me? And it depends on where Chiron is in your chart. Personally, for me, mine's between my third and fourth house, and it is in Gemini, and the fourth house is family, and Gemini is communication. So family, communication, and dynamic is very difficult for me. I'm actually very distant from my family. So this is not the first time I've ever been distant from my family. Like this has been something that I have had to work through my entire life, but it's also the things that I have learned the most from in my life because I have been able to create my own family and I've been able to learn how to love myself for who I am despite them not being in my lives. It's the most painful thing that I experience in my life, but it's also the thing that has helped me to grow the most on my journey. So, Chiron retrograde might bring up some of these obstacles and situations, and they also might give you an opportunity to heal these situations too. So, with Venus on top of that, if you're wounded, if your wounded healing theme of your life involves relationships, there might be a scenario that comes up this summer that either gives you an opportunity to heal, learn a lesson, or to create some drama in your life. Um, so Venus goes retrograde on the 22nd. Venus retrograde by itself can do exactly what you think it is. It can slow down relationships. If you were like hot and heavy with this new relationship and things are going good and you're like, yeah, this is the one. And then all of a sudden things start to get weird between them or things start to slow down. That's Venus retrograde. It's like relationships seem kind of stuck and not moving forward. So that is what we have to look forward for the planetary energy this week and the rest of the summer. Because let's see, Venus is retrograde until September. So Venus is the first one to go direct. This is Retrograd-a-palooza. We had one last year. We had one the year before. No, I think it's just like when you bring awareness to it, it starts to make sense. You're like, oh, that's why that thing at work happened. That's why my husband and I got in an argument. That's why I had that thing. Or that's why I made up that argument in my head. But then when I actually confronted the person, everything was totally fine. Everything's fine. And so it's like when you're aware of it, I think you are able to combat it a little bit more and not have it be catastrophized and like the end of the world because you're like, oh, this is just a slow moving time. We're going to start moving forward again. When there's like a time limit on it and you kind of know when this energy is going to end, it's kind of nice. So again, those are all in your astro dashboard every month. If you haven't watched the pick a card reading yet, go watch the pick a card reading for the new moon because uh, all of the piles had something to do with spirituality and intuition and emotions, which is totally natural and normal for a Cancer new moon. But I think that a lot of us are downloading, connecting to our spirituality, connecting to our psychic gifts, and just kind of tapping into the cosmos and the unknown. So even though things are going to be moving slower, this slower movement might be giving us more opportunity to receive and integrate and to just allow yourself to move slow. It's hot in the summertime. Move slower, conserve your energy, And that's what this new moon is going to teach us. So let's look at the oracle cards for this week. We have, um, funnily enough, we have the water oracle card from the Healing Waters deck. This is the same card that came up in the flip through and review that I did for this deck. So, psychic abilities, acting on visions, and it's destined. So, water has long been associated with the feminine mystical arts, with seers, oracles, and psychics, using it to receive visions of the present and future. Scrying is a mystical practice that has been used since ancient times all over the world. It's the art of gazing into something with a reflective surface, including water, to detect messages or visions. The earliest documentation of scrying reaches back to ancient Babylonia. It is believed that the scryer would add oil or flour to a bowl of water and then read the resulting mixture to receive helpful visions. This divination practice is referred to as lacanomancy, and it's a form of hydromancy. When the water oracle appears before you, it's a sign that something is destined, written in the stars. Maybe you're living with a question at the moment, or perhaps you've received unexpected guidance to make a change in your life, but you're unsure whether it's your head or your heart talking. The water oracle delivers a message to trust your intuition and the messages and visions you've been receiving. It's a card of confirmation and encouragement to act on your visions and embody your intuition. It can also be a sign that your psychic and intuitive abilities are growing stronger, that you have the gift of clear vision and are being encouraged to work on this craft more deeply. The Healing Waters affirmation is I trust my intuition and act on it with confidence. This really sums up kind of all three of the readings in the pick a card, like lots of downloads, psychic gifts, psychic abilities, tapping into your intuition. And our chakra card is divine truth. Allow truth to arise within you. Feel it radiating from you, connecting you more deeply with yourself and all around you. Know that the truth you hold is meant to be shared with the world, empowered by compassion and conviction. Delivered with love, truth is a source of deep healing for you now on all levels. Alignment with your truth can manifest miracles within your body, mind, and spirit. This is a throat chakra card. The crystal is turquoise, and the herb is bay laurel. I don't think I could really say anything more than I've already said. I feel like these two cards totally capture the energy of the new moon in Cancer that we have on Monday. I think it also kind of encapsulates this receptiveness that I've been talking about for the energy of this week and through Retrograd-a-palooza. Like, go through Leo season, soaking up as much as you can. The Lionsgate portal is our connection to Sirius, which is our spiritual sun. So, literally soaking up spiritual rays as well as sun rays, like from our own sun. Leo season is the time where we are closest to the sun. So, it's both suns, two suns. We have the opportunity to tap into the Sirius sun and our solar sun. So just be open, receptive, allow things to move slower and not to force anything. Just be open and receptive to this time. I hope you're able to take some time around the new moon to rest and relax and to be receptive. If not on Monday, hopefully over the weekend, you were able to do something or is finding some time where you can, even if it's 5 minutes a day, just sit and breathe and be open to receiving. I hope that you have a wonderful, happy new moon. Don't forget to check out that pick a card reading. I will hopefully have the Leo season schedule ready for you next week. So I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching.